What is the most important advancement made in science and technology during the Northern Renaissance? Very arguably, it's the most important advancement made even since then, which is the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg. You may remember we touched on in the humanism movement 2 weeks back. But since it's so significant, let us take some time to review and explore further this substantial invention. So for centuries before Gutenberg comes along, and he invented the printing press in the 1440s. For centuries, the Chinese had a method which entailed using wooden blocks. So this enabled printing to be done faster than the alternative, which at that point was just by hand. Now you can imagine how long it would take to copy a single book word for word, which is what they did. It was usually a monk or a scholar. They were holed away. It would take several months. I mean, imagine how arduous it feels if you're going to copy out a paragraph from one of your textbooks. Okay, and then just multiply that several times. It was just a grueling, arduous process. And the result was that there were very few books in circulation. There were very few books that were made. There were very few books that were sold. And the ones that were had only by the well-to-do elites, the nobility, the monarchy, the very few people at that point who were actually educated and could afford, because they had the financial resources to buy them. Most people at this point in Europe are not literate, meaning they cannot read. So in the 1440s, Gutenberg comes up with this idea. It's a revolutionary idea. He replaces the Chinese wooden block with a metal block. And not only that, he gets rid of their system, the way they had it designed of words or entire passages, and he just does single letters, which means that you could very quickly repurpose technology to print something else. So he makes it just a much quicker, a much more streamlined technology. Not only that, he invents or comes up with a new ink that can better be suited for the metals. So this technology spreads very quickly. It leaves his native Germany. It goes first to Italy and France. From there, it spreads to Spain, Portugal, England. A new technology, a new industry has emerged. It's huge. It's revolutionary. Now people have an incentive to actually learn how to read, because if you were around back then, well, why would you even need to learn how to read? There was no books available. Now people want to learn how to read. More of them do. More books become available. They're not just purposed for the richest people. And scholars, intellectuals, they begin writing for the first time in their native languages. So back then, even if you were French, even if you were Swedish, even if you were Polish, you would write in Latin. This changes. This is a huge, huge development. 100 years later, the first newspaper arrives. 100 years after that, the world's first daily newspaper arrives. The monarchs and the Roman Catholic Church, this weakens their power that you can freely disseminate information. It is a huge change, and the influence will forever be cast into the future.